movements. McDowell's Prostate help prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary flow, and reduce frequent urination, especially at night. Moringa oleifera capsules are rich in minerals like calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, vitamins like beta-carotene, vitamin A, vitamin B such as folic acid, vitamin C, D, and E. McDowell's Potassium Complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's Ginger Turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. Let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway, call 453-6417. Let your wellness be our stress.
It is well known that diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, and other illnesses may restrict blood flow, which can lead to impotence and erectile dysfunction. This is why Enhance was formulated to meet these challenging health problems, which can reduce your ability to perform. If you're having problems maintaining your manhood, then reclaim your manhood today with Enhance. Enhance increases your energy level, boosts your stamina, and increases your endurance.
You can get your Enhance at Southwell VA4, Restorer Pharmacy Soufre, Knights Med Miku, Lay By Bar The Morn, Dexter's Place Jeremy Street Castries, Citygate Bar The City opposite the market, Plants Place Denry Highway, Arlette Supermarket Soufre, The Release Stress Bar Labrie Highway, Cool Joint Bar Victoria Schwazel, Prios Bus Stop 22, next to the Moshi Bus Stop opposite the Grosile Bus Stop. Prios Bar and Grill in Corinth, Grosile.
Enhance, the best a man can get.
Why are you suffering from aches, pains, and illnesses? When there's help for you. At Health Service Center, we offer a wide range of treatment that has been scientifically proven to help you with your aches, pains, and illnesses. Our ICT machine is one of the most effective devices in the health field. It has shown positive results in many health problems, such as back pains, shoulder pains, migraine headaches, pain in the knees and legs, poor circulation, arthritis, diabetic neuropathy, numbness in the feet, strokes and sports injuries. ICT, repairs, rebuild. The power to heal, the future of pain relief.
The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluffs. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
Another week of The Real Issues with me, Shelton Daniel, your host and the producer, alongside our technical operator, Alton Kwan Joseph. I hope you had a good weekend, never mind, the inclement weather. But I kind of like what we call inclement weather, when it cools down the place. And that's what the rain did. From the time it came, it started hitting, what time was it, Sunday morning or whatever it was? I slept better than I usually do. I think I've told you before, I'm a very restless, toss and turn sleep person, especially when it's hot, humid, stuffy, etc. And the cooling down effect that it had. I was telling a sister of mine, my goodness me, it was so welcome, even though for the most part I was unaware of it, that I had, even if it was only 2 hours of deep sleep, which I often can't boast of. I know the issues that we had in the Twapiton area. We saw the fallen trees blocking the road and the electrical wires also impacted people when those things happen. I know curiosity, which I'm supposed to have as a journalist, by the way. I know the desire to go sightseeing, to go and watch things, but always be careful if those things, there could be dangers that you're unaware of. So, watch yourself, very carefully. Sometimes a tree is half fallen. Something else is kind of propping it up for the remaining few feet or several feet to the ground. And it's just when you go that the rest of it completes its journey and comes crashing down. You don't want that to be on you, especially when it is in contact with what may well be live electrical wires. All right. Jaquan, I know today has to be the 20th. Yeah? It's got to be the 20th. So the dementia didn't get me today. All right? Yeah, because yesterday the 19th was supposed to have been something massive. And that was the official launching of the governing St. Lucia Labour Party's candidate for Choiseul and Saltibus, Mr. Kifson Charles, who everybody, it seems, even people who have never met him, it's one voice, Kifo, Kifo, Kifo. And people were all revved up, primed up, absolutely fired up for the launching of Kifo at the Lafargue playing field. The only place that I know of in Choiseul that could host that kind of activity, The launchings have been, challenging for the ruling party. Challenging in the sense of getting a venue that will not bring the surrounding communities into absolute gridlock and dysfunction. So, Lisa Jawai's launching had to take place at the Odsa IRDC. You try to hold that on the Bexo playing field, no vehicle is going to pass in that area where the Bexo church is and so on. You'll have to have some long detour. It would have been challenging. Complete roadblock. Everything would have been on lockdown for what would have been a shell down. Not me. I'm not talking about myself, But if you want to know, when the whole place shell down, the side effect of it is that the whole place locked down. So they didn't want that. They had to do it at Odsa. The launching of Shanda Lee Harak Singh, the SLP's candidate for Miku South, actually had to be held in Miku North on the playing field. Because you try to hold that on the Deriso playing field, you try to hold that anywhere inside, because Deriso, Miku South is, for the most part, if not entirely, an inside community away from the roadside. It's a place where you have to leave the main road and go inside. And had they tried that, again, the whole place would have been shelled down, and that shell down would have been locked down. So they had to do it there, and it was massive. Danny Butcher may well be the one who had it the easiest, Oh, yes, the recreation park. There were a lot of questions being asked about, who's in charge or whatever this thing. But I don't think this one was challenging in terms of the venue, the accessibility, and allowing, things not associated or people coming in or leaving the venue and so on. It didn't pose too much of a problem. Kifo at Lafargue, that's the only place that I know of inside Choiseul that you could have hosted something like that. And information reaching me is that the postponement was very well thought out, very well considered, wise decision given the weather, given what happened. Folks, sometimes little incidents happen on the road and they're not too much of a big deal. But when you have thousands and thousands and thousands of vehicles and people moving, all it takes is one little skid off the road. All it takes is one little spin, one little accident, one little prang, and that's it, Everything just comes to a screeching, grinding halt. And we don't want that. But I want to say our people, I think, behaved very well yesterday in particular for the weekend. As a matter of fact, I noticed there was very little traffic on the road in the north where, I function and so on. So people seem to have generally taken all warnings and so on seriously. There wasn't all that useless whizzing. And I say useless. A lot of people, they just go up and down, up and down, up and down the road. It's not anything they really have doing. But, there was that... how you call that? Quiescence, quietude about the place. And bravo, St. Lucians. You show that you can rise to the occasion. You can also drop to the occasion. Don't hype up yourself too much when you really should be cooling out yourself, staying home, going about things in a more sober, in a more sedate, in a more quiet, measured way and so on. And I think this weekend was an example. Don't know if anybody had damage. I had a problem with the internet. I find even if we had inclement weather, but there wasn't any such high wind that would have knocked off some tower or something like that. But internet was a problem. And so I drove about to one spot. I wonder if I should tell you all my secret. Next thing, everybody starts going there and so on. Not only does my own mobile internet work well when I go to that area, so even if I don't get any of the surrounding internet and so on, but I find my 4G, there are some spots that I have marked out that they work very well. And I'm talking about by the Central Library. And I think that is because the government's DigiGov and e-government thing is based there. So normally when I go there, I get a strong signal of my own mobile internet plan. But this time, not even the mobile internet was working for me. But however, I just decided to scan, and there was an open Wi-Fi, and I think it's called Gov whatever. Gov.I or whatever. I think it's government information or something like that. And it was essentially, they said you have to sign in, but the sign in was simply agreeing to, letting you know that it is not a secured platform. It's not a secured access point. So then your information, I said, hey, what's it that I have to hide? What's it on my phone that people can, So you DigiGov people, if you go there and you find trace of me, if you didn't get it last night or early this morning or whenever I was there, I can't remember. Sometimes the brain fog takes over. Don't go looking into my stuff. I'm just kidding. I don't think you do that. I don't know if it's possible or whatever, but like I said, what's there to hide? But I went there and I happened to get that open government Wi-Fi and so on. And I did what I had to do and then I left. But that area generally, especially in the night when it's cool and quiet and so on, I tend to go there, not much traffic and so on, for my own, my own mobile internet. But this time I was very happy when everything else, that I had access to, home Wi-Fi, whatever, seemed to be giving trouble and so on. And it worked very well. So good stuff. All right. Yeah. Miguel is just telling me it's GINet. All right. So I went there and the GINet at a time when I really needed to go on the internet was working quite good. Folks, and somebody's just messaging me saying, I really wanted to hear what Chico had to say on Friday. I hope he called back. I'm going to replay that bizarre call from the former controller of customs, which I spent the whole weekend trying to figure out. I picked up the phone several times to call Peter Chico and to ask him what was that about, because I don't know. A man calls, but we'll get to that in a moment. This is so while I don't really go into these international stories and I leave them alone. I say we have enough of our own business, enough St. Lucian issues, real issues to deal with. So I've toned down on my comments about, the Ukraine war and Vladimir Putin and Venezuela and Maduro and Trump and those things. Not that I don't care about them anymore, but I've kind of toned down. Try to mind our business. We have enough on our plate here in St. Lucia. But I don't think I can not say anything about it. You heard me recently saying that I don't think Venezuela, its ruling socialist party, its president Nicolas Maduro have lately been playing their cards very well. I stick to that. There's one thing, the small islands of the Caribbean, this archipelago, they're tiny land masses. They have very little by way of what you'd call natural resources, especially natural mineral resources. Trinidad may be the exception with the oil and Jamaica, some bauxite, which I don't think is anything big to talk about. But in terms of natural mineral resources and wealth, they have very little of that. They have very little. I don't think they have rare earths because Trump would have been breathing down our neck or whatever for it and so on, rare earth minerals. They have a lot of marine space around them, and if there could be what is called the delimitation of boundaries, and we could really move forward in the blue economy beyond just talk to really exploit it, we have vast potential marine resources around us. But do we have the means? Do we have the equipment, the resources, the technology, whatever it is to go and to tap into it and to exploit it in a manner that is sustainable and that is to our benefit? One thing I've observed over the years that these Caribbean islands have, they have very strong, very intelligent, very respected, very effective diplomatic resources. Oh yes, the Caribbean, whichever of the islands you go, and especially when they work together, they have been able to move mountains in terms of negotiations, in terms of going out there. Right, and St. Lucia is no exception. I can think of names like, I don't even need to go for Earl Huntley. That is an extraordinary, really great ambassador. I don't think we know Earl Huntley is superb, but there are others like Edwin Laura, retired now. There's so many others that we can think of in terms of our diplomatic capability. Antigua and Barbuda, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Barbados, and so on. We have had great diplomats, people who, when it seems that we are facing insurmountable odds, whether in our banana industry, whether in our aviation industry, getting air services agreements when major airlines are threatening to pull out because they consider it not profitable, and our diplomats go together and they speak to them, and next thing you hear, okay, they've decided to stay and to come back and so on. They have done major feats that are nothing short of miraculous. Diplomatic intelligence, diplomatic perspicacity, and so on. At the United Nations, we've seen them and so on. And I think that is something, where it comes to the knowledge-based resources, we have no shortage of that, particularly in the diplomatic field. And I felt that the Caribbean has leveraged its diplomatic influence, its diplomatic skill and perspicacity and whatever else we may use, that's not important, on behalf of Venezuela in recent years, over the years. They've done that to be a friend of Venezuela, to show that while we cannot give Venezuela food, they have the oil, they are much more wealthy, they are much bigger, they have a lot more natural resources and so on, and they have reached out to us. But I felt the Caribbean has done, mere motley, of Barbados, who took the lead when, it seemed like half the world was determined to dictate to Venezuela who its president should be. An unelected guy was being proclaimed as the president, Juan Guaido, and all of that, and all the internal dissensions and pressure from America, was on them. Obama was one who said that Venezuela threatens the United States. And I think there was a diplomatic engagement from CARICOM, from the OECS, from the region, that quieted down the U.S. hostility and aggression towards Venezuela. I'm unhappy that even after all that, after Venezuela has eaten bread at the table of the Caribbean in the area of its diplomatic influence, in the area of its diplomatic sagacity, in the area of its diplomatic efficacy and so on, and likewise the Caribbean, St. Lucia included, have benefited from Venezuela. I really thought that Maduro and the socialists would have taken the lead in trying to bell the cat for this hyper-nationalist, territorial claim that Venezuela has on Guyana and so on. Guyana is the place where the headquarters of CARICOM is, and they want to talk about 5/8 of Guyana is theirs and the Essequibo, and they will not give up, and they are not going to bind themselves by what the International Court of Justice says and this and that. And I really felt that Maduro, people told me he was doing it just posturing for elections because that is a very emotive subject in Venezuela. So I thought after the elections that would have called out, until I heard them ratcheting up that thing. And I said, wow, can you imagine at a time like that, when Venezuela is in the crosshairs of another far right, as far as I'm concerned, fascist, right, president, conservative, Republican president of the United States and so on, when you would most need solidarity, you would most need that handshake of togetherness with CARICOM, that's when you're making threats against Guyana and so on. And I said, oh, something is wrong. And it's coming at a time where even allies of Venezuela, like the leftist government, of Colombia, Gustavo Petro's government, where even a returned Lula da Silva was saying that the last election, something right there. They're not happy with that election. They're not convinced that it was an election that was democratic. That, his own strongest allies, in South America were actually saying that. So if there was a time where you needed the Caribbean, and after Maduro had, quote unquote, won the election, to still hear you making the noises about the Essequibo and showing your redrawn map of Guyana Essequibo, I said, to me, this reeks of ingratitude. To me, this reeks of, as the Bible says, someone who ate bread at your table but has now lifted up his heel against you. And I said, this is going to change the Caribbean's disposition towards Venezuela. And, I don't know if that is what I'm seeing, but I just find the kind of diplomatic energy and protest and stand up by an ally, by a friend, to say, please, in the way we have done for Cuba, at great risk and peril to ourselves, given who we're dealing with, the mighty and seemingly all-powerful United States. I just find I'm not hearing that kind of noise this time. I'm not hearing that kind of diplomatic noise from CARICOM being asserted on behalf of Venezuela. And I think I know why. I think I can understand why. I think I can agree with why. Nevertheless, let me put on record to say that I do not like the moves that Trump is making now, where it seems he is preparing for some armed invasion or assault on Venezuela. I'm not happy. I believe this is going to hurt the Caribbean, not just Venezuela. It is going to hurt even Guyana. It is going to hurt Trinidad, who seem to be in that corner, in that margin of support for the United States. I don't believe this thing is going to work out to our benefit. And so I personally want to put on record that I am against it. But I hope if it does not happen, or if it happens, that Venezuela will learn a lesson from all that. Learn to show a little bit of love. Learn to show a little bit of restraint. Learn to show a little bit of moderation. Learn to show a little more capability to not just choose your battles, but to time your battles. To be going after, a CARICOM state, and the state where the CARICOM headquarters in, over a piece of land that you have done without, your country has done without for so long that it doesn't need. At a time when you are facing that kind of pressure from the United States, I just felt it was not shrewd. I just felt it was not wise. I just felt it was not diplomatic. It was not tactful. Whatever else you can use to describe it. But I'm not about to say that whatever they get, they deserve. That is not my position on this matter. I hope they do better than that. The other thing which I wanted to talk about, isn't it ironic? Isn't it contradictory that the very same Donald Trump who wants to posture and position and project and sell himself as the great peacemaker in Gaza, and he felt he was entitled, he was deserving of a Nobel Prize and this, and the very same country where the Nobel Prize winner, Peace Prize winner, was chosen instead of him, that Trump seems to now be moving with all kinds of aggression, with all kinds of determination to start a war against Venezuela. What is going on? What's the contradiction? You want credit for bringing peace in Gaza, but you're building up stuff to start a war with Venezuela. What's going on? What's the thinking here? I know they want Venezuela's oil now more desperately than ever because they want to lock down Russia as much. It seems to be coming around now to realizing that Vladimir Putin is not his good friend and is not as sincere and trustworthy as he is. But if you're not going to buy oil from Russia, you need another source of oil so that you can appease those countries that you're putting pressure on not to buy oil, from Russia, or at least to reduce the oil from Russia. So Venezuela, which has, I think, the largest proven reserves of oil in the world, they don't have the highest output, but now you want to go after Venezuela. What's going on? What's happening in the world? And it's sad to think that the Caribbean may end up finding itself in the crosshairs of all that thing, in the crossfire, that the collateral damage of this thing may hit us more than it may hit anybody. Now, it's my view that Netanyahu is trying his best to keep that Gaza war going, because even if a ceasefire and whatever peace formula they have, Israel is still attacking Gaza, is still bombing, is still killing people. Netanyahu doesn't want the war to end, because the day the war ends, he will have to face his day in court. They have been granting him adjournments and so on because as the leader of the country in wartime, just like Zelensky, they're not calling elections in Ukraine because the country is at war, etc. So they don't want to create that kind of instability, internal instability, while you're facing an external and seemingly implacable enemy. But, Netanyahu does not want to have the war ended so that he will finally have to face the very serious corruption charges that he is facing. And he's not the first Israeli leader. There's been a stream of them who've faced corruption charges, and they have used war as a deflection, as a distraction. I remember a guy called Ehud Olmert was another one, invading Lebanon and doing all this kind of thing, because this is what those guys are doing. They're bleeding the American taxpayer by the racket of settlements that they know they will have to demolish, illegal settlements, illegal annexations, go in and build properties for which they are given billions of dollars by America, because they have an acute shortage of housing and so on. Then some peace negotiations will come. They'll have to demolish the settlement. Somebody's screaming off profits and so on, is screaming off something all the time. They all are doing it. Ariel Sharon was another one, famous in a military context, but a seemingly very corrupt guy. He's deceased now and so on. Netanyahu is another one again. He and his wife accused seriously of corruption. The day that the war ends, and he doesn't have to point to, oh, well, give me a little break because I'm leading the country, for its very survival, a very existential threat and so on. He doesn't want it to end. So this peace thing there in Gaza, especially the person who claims to broker it, Donald Trump, he's too much of a contradiction. My feeling is that it's not going to last. What we can all do in this region is to pray, is to hope, is to wish, is to beg, is to advocate, agitate, whatever we can do to see to it that a war does not erupt here. Because if you believe the situation in Grenada was anything bad, it was over in a matter of days. I think the effects of it, psychological and otherwise, lasted a much longer time. But a U.S. war in Venezuela, seeing the buildup of Russian and Chinese, military and equipment and presence in Venezuela, they may not actually join the fight, but the chances are the Venezuelans may be a lot better equipped than anything the Cubans and the brave Grenadians were in October 1983. So it is possible that this war could become very bloody. It could spill over. It could affect so many other countries. It could affect Trinidad. It could affect Guyana. It could affect so many other places, than it did then, because the weaponry now is actually light years beyond what was in 1983. All right. Folks, on Friday, I got a very bizarre call. That's the last call that we dealt with on the real issues on Friday. And it was from Peter Chico, the former controller of customs, a guy who I was at school together with, by the way, Ernest Tille. We were at school together, I think about in the same form, class, whatever. We played sports together. I remember Ernest was more into his cricket, as was his brother Paul Hille. Paul was a good batsman. Ernest, I think, was more spinner and so on. Chico, I can't remember if he played cricket, but he was a great footballer. Yes, I can tell you he could play football well. He was a good dribbler and so on. Maybe he played cricket and so on. But always a cool guy. Well, always good. Up to now, there's a nickname that was given to me by one of the teachers who said when I'm playing football, I was running like a madman. When I'm after that ball, my head is forward, is ball I going for and so on. I ain't nothing. The late Mr. Julian Worrell. He used to call me the Mad Chappie. To the credit of Ernest and Mikey Francis and who else? A couple others, to this day. They see me. Michelle Seeley was another one. The son of the late police inspector, was his superintendent, Seeley and so on. They see me anywhere. Mad Chappie! I mean, we were okay at school. It doesn't mean that because of that, people have a lifetime obligation to be nice and to be easy with people. You have a job to do, you have a job to do. You controller of customs, you controller of customs. Since I came back to St. Lucia, there may have been more than once, but the one that sticks in my mind, I ran into Chico, maybe for the first time since I was back, in the Massey supermarket that was on Manuel Street, on the, how you call that? On the western end of town and so on, whatever, where Bandag used to be, etc. We spoke. I didn't know about his political connections, whatever. I'd heard about the Chico family, Flambeaus, but I never make that a problem with people. Whoever is okay with being affable, with being friendly, politics. But I don't think his candidacy had become declared or known as yet and so on. In any case, it wouldn't have mattered. Over the years, I've had many Flambeau friends, good Flambeau friends who have been nicer to me and a lot of labor people, or people who are supposed to be labor. And you know where I know that most? From my days at Radio St. Lucia. Some people who are supposed to be the heart and rock and solidity of labor, and I can tell you they were pretty nasty. And there's some people who were supposed to be flabo, who were very, very, very nice to me, good to me, and so on, and helped me in many predicaments that the supposed labor people try to put me through. There's good and bad in everyone, like that song. You know, what's it there? Stevie Wonder and Friends, whatever, sang and so on. And so I don't judge people according to their worthiness to be my friend by whether they read or not. I've met some very nasty laborites, and I've met some very nice flabos, and vice versa as well. So I met Flabo. Flabo. Chico, hear what I'm calling you now, you know. Don't let somebody tell you. Say it's a slip of the tongue, okay? I met Chico. The nicest pleasantries, handshake, long time, we're talking. And the conversation shift to what really happened with Hele and so on. And he was explaining to me. He told me, look, man, you know, there are the documents that there was some whatever, which was not done properly, entries and so on. And, you know, he could show them to me. He could talk to me. He has nothing against anybody, whatever. I mean, we spoke. Eventually, I decided, I think we both agreed that this was not a good place to be having the conversation. You know, people see you, the two of you all talking, they know who I am, they see me on TV, they know who Chico is, and before you know it, people pass in and he's trying to hear for them to go and say. So I said to Chico, and that's not exact words, that I think we better meet some other place, some other time to talk, and if he wants to, I can even, you know, have him on my program one of these days to talk about that. Like I said, he wasn't candidate yet or declared candidate yet. If I had known then that he was candidate, I wouldn't have made the offer in that context, because the man who's a candidate endorsed already is coming with a different perspective and mindset and orientation than the man who's just a retired former controller of customs who just wants to state the facts, whatever. So we parted ways there. I mean, said goodbye to each other. Never any bad blood or anything, you know, between us, whatever. And then on Friday, Chico calls, and I'll play it after the break. We're due for the break already. Chico calls, and it's like somebody told him I was talking about him. Now, this somebody told you, it's not a question of, Shelton, I heard you were talking about me. What was it you were saying? It's a matter of somebody told him they heard me talking about him. What was it I was saying about you? He can't say. Are you not the same Shelton Daniel who met me and who asked me whatever and who invited me to come on your program? And I'm wondering, but what's the point of all of this? Are you the same Shelton Daniel? Like, now right away, once you start shooting at me, are you the same Shelton Daniel? The insinuation is that I am a fake. I am a two-timer. I am a duplicitous person who is one person who met you and I'm saying something else. When you cannot tell me what it is I said because you never heard it. It's somebody you say who told you. But you don't ask me, what is it I was saying? Do you remember you came to me? And at that point, I began to realize, maybe he was always like that. Maybe this is the effect that politics has on people when they become endorsed candidate. But then I began to feel that the gentleman was taking a rather disingenuous turn. I came to you. What does that mean, I came to you? There was no such encounter like I came to your office. So if you have an office now, I don't know. Or that I searched you out, or that I looked for you, or that I asked for you and made an appointment. We happened to run into each other in the aisle of a supermarket. As former schoolmates, and I would say as friends, we had a chat. Somewhere the chat turned into this whole matter where you promised you can walk me through it, you know, because I told you I was out of St. Lucia at the time. I picked up little dribs and drabs and smatterings of what was going on, and Ernest, his jeep being taken into custody, impounded by customs and blah, 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 and all of that. Now, in all of that, knowing that you, Ernest, myself were schoolmates and by all indications friends, you know, sportsmen, you know, on maybe the same team, whatever, and so on. It doesn't mean that you owe anybody anything. You don't owe me any explanation. You don't owe Ernest any special treatment. You don't owe him any concession. As the controller of customs, you act in accordance with the requirements of the office. Your role as controller of customs is the office. And that is the whole point that Chico seems to be missing. He seems to understand it when he is acting or was acting as controller of customs. But he does not seem to understand that me discussing a court case that went to the CCJ with references about the controller of customs, in this case, not even Chico. Chico is no longer controller of customs. The gentleman does not understand that in a legal context, as far as legal identity or legal entity is concerned, an office and a person are not the same. You may have taken certain actions when you are controller of customs that the office endures. Somebody else becomes controller of customs. They decide to reverse, to walk back, to undo, to rescind the actions that you take. It is no longer Peter Chico. It is the office of the controller of customs. So I discussed the CCJ ruling, which I don't think referenced Mr. Chico at all. It was all about Alan Chasney versus the controller of customs or whatever it was and so on that I discussed, which is in the record. I read extensively from it. I read from it and I never once referenced him because it is not about Peter Chico, the man. It is about the office of the controller of customs. So on and on and on the gentleman goes, are you the same Shelton Daniel? Are you the same? And so the implication, I had to ask him, what is it? Are you trying to put me on the spot? Because the implication is clear. That I am some kind of razor blade, couteau de langue, duplicitous person who talked to him one way when we met and saying something else. Not once did I reference you. It is a matter of controller of customs. And Alan Chasney's case had nothing to do with you. It was whether the controller of customs had the right or the authority or whatever it was to discontinue the legal proceedings or whatever against Ernest Hilaire for that Range Rover. That's what it was about. The Office of Controller of Customs has since moved on long past Peter Chico. There's been maybe one, if not two, controllers of customs since he has retired or has left or whatever happened to him in it. It's about the Office of Controller of Customs. So we're going to take the break now. It's overdue anyway. And then when we come back, I want to replay this because it came right at the end of the program. And sadly, I had to say we have to go because we have one ad that is not an ad that is recorded in our system to say we can put it off. It comes live. When 2 o'clock comes, or maybe they might be a little slow or maybe even a little quicker, the lotto comes on live. So it catches you. Sometimes you just have to say, let's go now. And maybe I'll make it a point to end the program 2 minutes before 2 or whatever to make sure that they don't come on and I am mid-sentence and so on. So I had to say, let's go and end the conversation there. But regardless of the 4 minutes that we were able to continue for, this was one of the most bizarre phone calls that I have ever had while hosting The Real Issues or any other program. We'll replay it when we come back.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
McDowell's Supplements, an effective way to ensure you and your loved ones are getting the daily recommended intake of essential vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate Health prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary flow, and reduce frequent urination, especially at night. Moringa oleifera capsules are rich in minerals like calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, vitamins like beta-carotene, vitamin A, vitamin B such as folic acid, vitamin C, D, and E. McDowell's Potassium Complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's Ginger Turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. Let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway, call 453-6417. Let your wellness be our stress.
It is well known that diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, and other illnesses may restrict blood flow, which can lead to impotence and erectile dysfunction. This is why Enhance was formulated to meet these challenging health problems, which can reduce your ability to perform. If you're having problems maintaining your manhood, then reclaim your manhood today with Enhance. Enhance increases your energy level, boosts your stamina, and increases your endurance.
You can get your Enhance at Southwell VA4, Restorer Pharmacy Soufre, Knights Med Miku, Lay by Bar The Morn, Dexter's Place Jeremy Street Castries, Citygate Bar The City opposite the market, Plants Place Denry Highway, Arlette Supermarket Soufre, The Release Stress Bar Labrie Highway, Cool Joint Bar Victoria Schwazel, Prio's Bus Stop 22, next to the Moshi Bus Stop opposite the Grosley Bus Stop. Prio's Bar and Grill in Corinth, Grosley.
Enhance, the best a man can get.
Why are you suffering from aches, pains, and illnesses? When there's help for you. At Health Service Center, we offer a wide range of treatment that has been scientifically proven to help you with your aches, pains, and illnesses. Our ICT machine is one of the most effective devices in the health field. It has shown positive results in many health problems, such as back pains, shoulder pains, migraine headaches, pain in the knees and legs, poor circulation, arthritis, diabetic neuropathy, numbness in the feet, strokes and sports injuries. ICT, repairs, rebuild. The power to heal, the future of pain relief.
The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
With the real issues, powered by Blue Waters, with me, Shelton Daniel, solo today because Terry Fenelon has been having some little challenges with his vehicle. You know, some of those things when you see they after you or they on you, no matter what you do, you change tires there, something else there, you do this, that, springs there, and so on. And I think Terry is going through a bit of that sort of thing, you know, with his vehicle. But guess what? I called Miguel to say, Migs, Terry can't come today, so if you want to, you can stroll in and so on. And Miguel tells me, you know what, I can't leave home today because I'm having vehicle problems, you know. So I don't know if my two friends, my two occasional co-hosts, Terry more regularly than Miguel, if this is the week that they're having their little skirmishes with vehicle gremlins, you know. But on this day, they are having, that's why neither of them is here today. So Terry, I hope you get it sorted out. And thank you very much for letting me know early. I know a lot of people always miss you when you're not around, but if things work out well for you, God willing, we should have you with us again tomorrow, all right? Thank you very much, Migs, for your willingness always to drop by. And there are many other people who have said that they can drop by, they can virtually walk in, and I will accommodate them. But I think I understand. The radio, television, there are things that you have to be prepared for. And if they don't feel sufficiently prepared, I understand. Now, I know you're probably telling me last pali, bagay like Chico. And that's exactly what I'm going to do now. Let us replay that bizarre interaction that I had on Friday via the telephone with former customs controller Peter Chico. On the line, real issues.
Good afternoon, Mr. Shelton Daniel. How are you?
I am doing okay, and you?
This is your humble servant, Mr. Peter Chico. I just received a call saying that you wanted to get some information about a post I made.
About what?
About a post I made.
No, not me.
Isn't that Shelton Daniel on Real Issues?
Yes, it is, but I want information of a post that you made.
Okay, well, the information coming to me is that you're discussing the matter and you're discussing my position in the matter. Is that correct?
Which post is that? Is it the thing that you said about the Bacatel court or something like that?
No, that's not the post.
So
is that what you want to discuss?
What? No, I have not discussed that. Tell me what it is. Tell me what post they told you I was discussing.
You, Mr. Shelton Daniel?
I am Shelton Daniel, but what did they tell you I was discussing?
I heard you were discussing the matter with the Range Rover.
Yeah, I was discussing that, but I didn't mention your name. I mentioned control of customs and so on. I was reading from the judgment. Yeah, but go ahead. Whatever you want to say it.
Shelton, are you not the same Shelton Daniel who met me and asked me to come and sit on your show to discuss this matter?
I may have done so. I don't recall.
What you may, Shelton, that's Peter Chico. We are not only you don't only just know me. You know me from school as well. So that's a conversation me and you would have had, because you said to me that you were actually in Antigua and you were just here. You had not spent too much time listening to the matter, but you want me to come and sit on your show to discuss the matter. Isn't that so?
Okay, all right. Go ahead, Mr. Chico. I get the feeling that you're trying to put me on the spot for something unnecessarily. You have called the program. You want to make a point about something. Go ahead and make your point.
No, I'm just trying to, because I want to find out if you are the one who said so to me. We are friends, you know, Sheldon.
Okay, so what is the point of if I said so to you that I was in Antigua? I'm not too familiar about this whole thing, that we can talk about it. Okay, well, you're here. Well, talk about it. What do you want to talk about?
Well, I'm just telling you now that if you want any information from me, you could feel free to call me and ask me. I just wanted to tell you that on your show and to let your listeners know that I am offering myself to you to answer your questions about that matter.
Okay, what it is specifically that you want? The Range Rover thing has already, it seems, been disposed of by the highest possible court. So what it is that you want to say in addition to that?
Disposed of by the highest possible court. But if you want any information, I just do not want you to say anything that is incorrect.
But Chico, what did I say? Whoever reported to you should say to you, Shelton said XYZ ABC, that you need to respond to. All Shelton did was read from the CCJ's ruling on the matter. Your name was not mentioned. I see Controller of Customs and Paul Noel. I do not know what Paul Noel's position was, whether you were controller at the material time pertaining to the CCJ's ruling. The CCJ has pronounced on the matter.
Right, so you're saying you do not know who was controller at the time?
No, that is not mentioned in the CCJ's ruling.
Then you came to me and you asked me to come and discuss it because you knew that I was the controller on the matter.
Okay, the CCJ's ruling came out only day before yesterday.
Okay, Shelton, I just wanted to let you know, both you and your listeners know.
And by the way, when you say I came to you, Chico, you and I met inside the Massey store on Manuel Street somewhere there, I think it was. We had not seen each other for a long time. We spoke briefly and so on. How much conversation can you have? I don't know why you sound like you're trying to put me on the spot that I had a conversation with you, which I'm now deviating from. Somebody told you I said something. You did not hear me say it yourself. But it's like you're trying to put me on the spot over something that was reported. We gotta go now. The lotto is on, okay? I'll call you. Monsieur, ça zot pe comprendre pas ça. Ça zot pe comprendre pas ça. the man is all fired up and agitated and, And I'm just wondering, okay, I read something from the CCJ which is concerning the controller of customs. You are no longer the controller of customs. This isn't personal to you. This is about the office, the legal entity of the Office of Controller of Customs. In a matter that has reached the CCJ, and they're making a determination as to whether Alan Chasney has any grounds, because he was the applicant in the matter. The matter was dismissed by the High Court, I think. It was dismissed by the OECS Court of Appeal. And now it is dismissed by the CCJ. I don't know what it is. The man don't want to tell me what it is that he feels that I did not do. Somebody told him. He can't say what the person told him. He's refusing an opportunity to speak on whatever it was the person told him. All the thing is that I had a conversation with him and now I'm sounding like the different person. Mr. Chico, at this stage of the game, you are irrelevant, You know that? I'm not talking about you personally irrelevant, but I'm talking within the context of the legal entity. That is the Office of Controller of Customs. You're irrelevant, sir. Whatever the case was, if Ernest Hilaire wants to bring some kind of lawsuit or some kind of case against you in your private persona, if that is permitted, then he can do that. Then you would become relevant. But when it comes to the Office of the Controller of Customs as a legal entity, you are irrelevant because you don't hold that office anymore. The CCJ's ruling was not personal or specific to you. So I don't know why you're making it sound like, I'm a couteau de langue, I'm some kind of razor blade. I came and I talked to you, and now I'm saying something different. You've run all this implied accusations against me on the basis of what somebody told you, a third party who probably have their own interests or probably not good listener, like so many of us are not good listeners. We hear something, somebody name mentioned, we run to call the person. I heard Shelton Daniel mention in your name, I heard a man say something about you. Yeah, but a lot of people, they live for that. Yo a profond na yo pas même temps ça qui dit yo ka se metan misi en le tête ou là ou ça ka se metan misi ka non. But to me you're supposed to be above that, Chico. You're supposed to be beyond that. You're supposed to be bigger than that. That somebody tell you they hear Shelton's mention in your name, you're not taking your time to ask, well, Shelton, what is it you are saying? Is it something I can help with or I can respond to, etc., etc.? You're not doing that. You just come in. Are you the same Shelton Daniel? I want to know if you are the same Shelton. What's that about? And I picked up the phone many times to call you this week and I said, no. If that is the way you present yourself and express yourself and come at me over something that some not too reliable, it seems, third party told you, which is neither here nor there, you calling me on the radio and you're making it sound like I'm a duplicitous person because I told you one thing. You irrelevant, sir. What I said, you irrelevant, legally and otherwise. It's about the controller of customs, the office, not you, unless you had something so personally vested in it that any mention of the controller of customs in regard to the Range Rover case, right away, it hits you in a personal way that you can't let it pass, unless you had something personal vested in it. I never made that accusation. But the way you came there, honestly, folks. Let's open the phone lines now. The numbers to dial, you can WhatsApp call us on 487-9849. That's 758-487-9849. Mobile number, you can WhatsApp call us on that. And you can also call us on the regular landline, 4533-911. We are taking your calls until 2 o'clock this afternoon. Don't forget. And Peter Chico, you're welcome to call. And I hope you can be a lot calmer and you can talk and express yourself and your concerns, what it is that was said to you, what it is that you heard. And if necessary, I can go back to the day when I discussed the CCJ ruling and maybe I can replay it or even send the clipping to you. So it won't be Mundiu or Utan. It will be something that you will actually hear, just as I replayed your phone call on Friday. We have a call on the line. Real Issues.
Bonjour, Shelton.
Ça va faire, ton frère?
Voilà, moi bien. Ça la plia fait.
Oh, la plia va faire moi. Moi, tu aimes la plia.
Oh, yeah, it was good. It was good. Honestly, I enjoyed that weather. these folk, they have nothing to rejoice over. I say it's like they're hanging on a straw. They went that far saying, "Oh, le baba ni lahan pour lunch kifo, te pour ça yo postpone." And I did not want to believe that in that inclement weather they actually had a Sunday live. They actually had a Sunday live last night.
So is it a Sunday live or Sunday lies?
Sunday lies.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I heard you well, you know. I just wanted to know. I just wanted to know if I'm the same Shelton Daniel that heard what you said there, you know.
Yeah, the same Shelton Daniel. But Shelton, all these guys are bitter and they're angry. So that guy is, like you said, that's not relevant right now because he's not controller of customs. It's the office you're referring to, and I understood what you're saying. So for the fact that he took it so personal, like you said, that means he has personal stuff about that. And the fact that the CCJ, do the ruling and stuff like that, they are all angry, they are bitter because it did not go in their favor.
Yeah.
Your catch right to Caltibay. But Shelton, you know what really captured me when I was watching the Sunday Lies? You'll have a fundraiser, and the fundraiser is $400. But I'm saying, but normally we cannot afford to go in a fundraiser, Creole fundraiser for $400 at a hotel. Make it make sense. Yeah, make it make sense.
I cannot.
So bourgeois to Sekigalela and people are flat. Yes.
But that is the whole thing about the UWP, you know. Yeah. The UWP now under Alan Shastney seems to be a party that is going to use people to do degrading, you know, low class thing like making women put diaper on them, you know, women who have become fat and misshapen because of childbirth and their economic status and to do magic with themselves. But when it comes to something to demonstrate dignity, to raise up the value of people and so on, it's always been done in a manner so that those people cannot attend. They cannot participate. You know, so $400 is probably... Because this is a man who went to spend, you know, $8,500 of our money every night for 7 nights for hotel accommodation in England. But he's a guy who comes and cry about how poor the country is and people don't have proper toilets and they poop in a nylon bag and this kind of thing. But what are you doing with the wealth of the country, even if it is to start something? You know, even if it is to start something, embarrass Philip JP now. Go and start some major community sewage works and some community pools so that young people, when the river is swollen, the Castries River, they don't go and take shoot and dive in it and so on. And then, you know, a couple of them drowning and this kind of thing. Sure, at least you start something too. If it's on the spot you want to put Philip JP, do it. Nothing so, you know. So all this is his luncheon and brunch and dinner and cocktail and so on. He's never pitched for the people that he make put diaper on them and go and do magic with themselves. Anyway. And
they're not opening their eyes to see that. Well, I tell you. Anyway, Shelton. Yes.
Okay.
Have a good one.
Okay, buddy. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, real issues. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Hi, good day. How you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Okay. Shelton.
I don't know if you...
You hear me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you, but not clearly at all.
I'm hearing a lot of noise, a lot of stuff on the phone.
Yeah, there's a lot of noise and so on. All right, we couldn't continue the call. I'm sorry about that. Maybe you can try calling back. If I knew who you were, I could probably have called you from my phone. If you're someone who has my number, give me a little message. Shoot me a message. I suspect I know who it is. So maybe I can call you from my phone because I always appreciate people trying to call the program and try to accommodate you best I can. But Irreverend Dickon from New York is on the line right now. So I know he will use, you know, all his spiritual gifts and powers to make that call be clear. Bernard Haynes, good afternoon
to you. Good afternoon, Shelton.
How are you doing, comrade?
I'm there, like, right. Moi just pas à participer à ta film dans Dieu, but na photo. Shelton.
Yes.
Moi te travaille à dire misère mes compagnie.
Misère mes compagnie.
Miss We Love Company.
Okay.
Moi je dis tout ces boucs ça la fou, yo tout ta tempé.
Qui est-ce qui misère wab?
All fellas mad.
Qui est-ce qui misère wab?
I'm Spider fou. il est misérable. Il n'a pas ça pour faire, il n'a pas ça pour dire, menti passé. Ma veut dire, il m'a pris chien. C'est ça, moi, je dis non. Comment tu passes chez. Mais moi, je dis, comment tu passes ça? Si comme ça, a commencé à sortir la tête de la ravine là. Sur toute tête qui a côtoyé là. Sur sa sécurité, pour passer par lui, on va lui dire. The man can call you know, as if he want to fight, man. As if something you try to throw you under a bus, like you said something so much that you are too tongue fella.
Yeah, I'm wondering, and if he's mentioned
something somebody tell you.
Yeah, if he's mentioned in the ruling, as somebody has just sent me a message. Thank you very much, David. Shelton, the judgment mentions Chico by name in paragraphs 9, 10, 12, 16, 17. Thank you for being so meticulous. But I don't think the CCJ justices were concerned about Chico, the person. They mentioned him for reference because he was the controller of customs who brought the action or took the step of impounding the Range Rover, whatever it was. Chico, the man, is not relevant, is not being targeted, is not being. Reference is you are controller of customs when that action, which your successor controller decided that he's not proceeding with. You are challenging that because I think Shasna is saying it's only the DPP who can decide to discontinue prosecutions, whatever. The court is saying no, there is a doctrine of merger that the case was never really in the hands of the DPP. It was always the controller of customs, and it was something that the magistrate in the court of first instance, basically agreed with or signed off on and so on. So you can't come and say that the controller of customs, whatever. Well, this is explained. There was nothing there personal to Peter Chico.
I mean, supposedly one of the ministers, that they cannot be again going to portray that should you become, okay, I know that's a bit far-fetched, but should you become a minister? So somebody come and tell you, somebody says something, that's how you're going to deal with it? You could see the vengeance in these guys. You could see the vindictiveness in this fella. So the leader, so the followers, so all the actors that want to be filmed. And first, you do have read something, you didn't even hear that thing. Somebody come and tell you a DC situation. You ready to eat up the person they tell you DC. Come on, Chico. I mean, you and these fellas, according to Ashanti, all them fellas lose. And that's why they portray that kind of behavior. All them fellas lose, they mad, they don't know what to do, what to say, as if they put themselves forward for something, they can't come out of it, and they're already regretting. They put themselves there. So guess what? They try to do anything to get out of it. Yeah. And that is what they're doing right now. But again, as I said, the mood is red. Prime Minister, we will be seeing you next month. The mood is also red in New York. The mood is red. Thank you, Shelton.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much. All right, we'll take this final call before we go for the break. I think we're already due for the break. Real Issues, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Sheldon.
How are you doing?
Not too bad. Sheldon, I was on my phone last night and watching Facebook. And I watching that thing with Spider-Man Tooth. Spider-Man Tooth is one of international GA. International GA. Okay? When you come and tell people on the phone, you was offered $2 million to join her. And you take it? Someone like Spider-Man is that hungry?
No, the man is a principled man.
But he's hungry. The man is hungry. And I said, "Would take that money?" Seriously.
No. $2 million. $2 million. I did not take it. That means the man is a principled man. Okay.
So what are you telling me there right now? There, you're an international liar.
Why are you saying the man lie? The only thing the man has not done is to say who made him the offer,
But he can't say who.
You don't know that. Next thing the man might come out and he might give a recording and he might have proof, man. You have to wait.
No, Spider-Man. When Spider-Man had a thing in the pig, he never come with proof. Huh? Let's just something, those fellas desperate. Because if guy said that they're in all cities already, the only free system is in is V4, library and things. So that's to show you how desperation, this was desperate. Okay, now I said don't listen to this fellas. And the next thing, if you tell me you have a fundraising, chances say 35% exhibitions illiterate, he's right. Because if you could have a fundraising at $400 and people will not see only the bourgeois that will go to it, he's right when they say 75% of exhibition illiterate. Thank you, Chandler.
You still there? Okay, I think he's left. So let's go. Let's go into our commercial break. Our last commercial break for the program. Real Issues powered by Blue Waters. We'll be back shortly.
The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real Issues, 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
McDowell's Supplements, an effective way to ensure you and your loved ones are getting the daily recommended intake of essential vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate Health prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary flow, and reduce frequent urination, especially at night. Moringa oleifera capsules are rich in minerals like calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, vitamins like beta-carotene, vitamin A, vitamin B such as folic acid, vitamin C, D, and E. McDowell's Potassium Complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's Ginger Turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. Let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway, call 453-6417. Let your wellness be our stress.
It is well known that diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, and other illnesses may restrict blood flow, which can lead to impotence and erectile dysfunction. This is why Enhance was formulated to meet these challenging health problems, which can reduce your ability to perform. If you're having problems maintaining your manhood, then reclaim your manhood today with Enhance. Enhance increases your energy level, boosts your stamina, and increases your endurance.
You can get your Enhance at Southwell VA4, Restorer Pharmacy Soufre, Knights Med Miku, Lay by Bar The Morn, Dexter's Place Jeremy Street Castries, Citygate Bar The CDC opposite the market, Plants Place Denry Highway, Arlette Supermarket Soufre, The Release Stress Bar Labrie Highway, Cool Joint Bar Victoria Schwazel, Prios Bus Stop 22, next to the Moshi Bus Stop opposite the Grosley Bus Stop. Prios Bar and Grill in Corinth, Grosley.
Enhance, the best a man can get.
The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real Issues, 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
Issues powered by Blue Waters on this Monday, the 20th of October 2025. We have someone on the line, and by the looks of it, it's from the UK. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, Shelton, my brother. How are you?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm good. First time calling your show.
Really? Okay. What moved you to What moved you to stop putting it off and to do it this time?
You know what? I'm just stopped. Or just hearing the lies, and there is too much lies, too many lies. Too many. You mean to tell me that it was not? They didn't offer Spider $2 million to run for the SLP. They was offering him $2 million to run independence, and he refused it. Why is now alone he's coming out with that and with no proof?
Yeah, go ahead, my friend. Go ahead. I'm listening to you.
You know,
you're asking me the question, or you're offering me some answers?
No, I'm asking you the question.
Why is me?
It's just like I heard Alan Shastney said that his father told him that it's better to give a friend knowing that you won't receive anything back, to keep a friend,
as opposed to lending them, and
as opposed to lending them. So the reason why the people put him in power from 2016 to 2021 was to give away our lands and our monies to keep his friends.
I tell you, boy.
My brother,
you know what? Only put on tout qualité de parler ou ça.
Oui, moi do foi, only put on tout ça.
Tout ça qualité de parler
kay sorti.
Il s'am gagé ka pour coup de bâton balier, il s'am imagine ka. Il s'am imagine ka pour coup bagay qui manger, bagay coup wash for the food.
Moi do, ou cotton by. What's up? Now it's for the people to have to listen and understand, to make sense out of nonsense. Anyway, my brother, thanks for taking my call. I'm here listening to you.
Thank you very much. Yes.
Big up.
We have another caller waiting. Real Issues, you're on the air. Go ahead. Hello. Hi, caller. Real Issues, are you there? Hello. Yeah, hello. I'm hearing you, but very faint and distant.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, that's better. Go ahead.
Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon, my bro. How you doing?
Not too bad at all, my brother.
Okay.
Let me tell you, the introduction of monologue you had on Trump and the sightings and the positions he's taking in the Gulf down there and threatening Venezuela and asking Trinidad to do whatever. I haven't read and heard that he was making overtures in terms of Grenada, of putting whatever in Grenada.
Yeah.
I believe that the Americans, Trump, especially since this fella became Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, is really seeking to split CARICOM.
Yeah.
The unity among the Caribbean islands, the positions, they have been steadfast in terms of the position of America against Cuba.
Yeah.
And these issues, and I believe there's an overall plan in the American government with Marco Rubio there to split the Caribbean people and then to find ways to get after Cuba. I'm very clear in my mind on some of the issues I am hearing.
Yeah.
So I believe the Caribbean people and the government must be very clear as far as the positions they're taking on that issue and the responses that should emanate from them on that issue. And that to me relates right back to the position of Alan Shastney when he went and addressed whatever he addressed in Trinidad. A meeting was taking place, and he was advocating that the islands of the Caribbean should go by themselves and negotiate on a bilateral basis and things. So these kind of things are dangerous for the unity of the Caribbean, the togetherness of its people, and what can really happen in the future. I just thought I should reflect on that a little bit.
All right. Thank you very much, comrade. Appreciate it.
Take it easy.
Yes. You know, this attempt to divide and rule I want to say that I believe the Caribbean, the CARICOM states now more than ever, there's a cohesion, there's a solidarity among them. And you know, I'm happy. The mere fact that America has to be asking Grenada, Antigua, whatever, to put whatever, it probably means that the places that it would have seemed almost a given that they would immediately agree to it. We don't have Guyana's name being mentioned that the US has asked Guyana to put a base in Guyana as yet. So never mind the threats and the menace that Venezuela has been presenting, that Guyana has kept its head in place, has maintained its focus, has kept its principles, as would have been espoused by the founding leader of the governing PPP, Chedi Jagan and so on, that he would never have accepted this kind of thing. It looks like Irfan Ali and Barrett Jagdeo, that despite, and that's what I'm saying, Venezuela's behavior cannot be making it easy for those people. You cannot be telling me CARICOM has shown you so much solidarity, but you're still continuing this nationalistic thing about you want to annex 3/4 of Guyana and that sort of thing. This is a time where you should be saying, CARICOM, thanks very much, let's continue to work together. CARICOM stood against this Lima group nonsense and so on, of the same divide and rule of people who want to go and negotiate bilaterally and so on. Show CARICOM that, look, I appreciate what you have been doing, little as it is, limited as it is. You don't go pushing against Guyana at a time like this and so on. Not that any time is ever right, but you don't do that. Right now you're going to make CARICOM at least become quiet as to what is going on and so on. The mere fact that they are asking places and so on means that even Kamla Prasad Bisesa, whom we have been a little jittery about, that maybe she's saying, I fundamentally support but to come and put American installations and bases and to use Trinidad as a launching pad of operations against Venezuela, maybe that's why they have to be asking Grenada and this and that and Antigua to do it and so on. So perhaps there's a little more principle and a little more robustness of solidity within CARICOM than we care to give them credit. Let's adopt a wait and see attitude. We have another call on the line. Real Issues, you're on the air. You lose that call? All right. We have another one waiting. All right. Real Issues, you're on the air. Go ahead. Hello. Hi, caller. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Is that me?
Yeah, yes. Go ahead.
Okay. Shelton, how you doing?
I'm doing superb.
You are?
Especially without Terry. And I'm so happy to disappoint you.
Shelton.
What's on your mind today?
Never disappoint me. I may not be able to see Terry, but I know where to get Terry when I need Terry.
Really? I need to have some ability to interfere with calls.
Shelton, let us move on to other things, okay?
No, I'll need to develop some electronic warfare abilities, but go ahead.
No, you just simply need to have $2 million. If you have $2 million, I don't want to see the letter T, let alone head Terry. Because let me tell you, somebody offer you $2 million. You don't have $500,000 in your bank account, but they offer you. I'm assuming you don't have 500,000, eh?
Yeah, I was wondering.
They offer you $2 million.
I was wondering how you know that.
Yeah, I had a lobby.
Go ahead.
And you don't accept it. But what we do not know is this. What Spider is saying, he's trying to make us believe that happened recently. But the reason Spider could not, if anybody had approached him, the Sorrow Gate who approached him, the reason he could not have come over with the $2 million or for the $2 million is because what he anticipated would have happened or would not have happened had already happened. For him to have had a seeming impact on the election, like Stephenson King did, and like Richard Frederick did, there needed to not have been an endorsement of a candidate in Grosley. But Kenson Bebe Kazimi had already been endorsed. And today, you want to come and sit down in a radio station with a camera on you and make people believe you have such influence. A young man beat you by 2,000 votes. Where the influence you have? Where? And I, knowing Mr. Pierre, right? Mr. Pierre distanced himself from a scenario that now has some other person running as independent. Imagine Mr. Pierre having listened to an account or many accounts by Lopo about his kidnapping, and the people whom he named in that kidnapping happened to be one of your names. Okay? And you, by subtle endorsement of his statement, went to bail one of the kidnappers or both of the kidnappers. You think Mr. Pierre would want to associate and affiliate his administration, his party, his government, himself with anything to do with you? That's how when them fellas trying to make my prime minister seem to need them so. They need to know what weight they have. And a man who can be paid has no values, but Spider has no scruples. None whatsoever. But that is for another show. Shelton, enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
Thank you very much. You as well. All right. Real Issues powered by Blue Waters is on. The calls are coming fast and furious, just the way we like it. You're on the air, caller.
Hey, good afternoon, Shelton.
How are you doing?
I good.
Were you trying to call earlier and you had a little difficulty?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so here it goes. I listened to Spider Montout's assertion of being, I should say, bribed $2 million to either go independent or whatever it is. And I would say categorically that is a blatant lie. You understand? Who is Spider Montout for the Labour Party? Or let me say, not Labour Party. Let's say for Philip J. Pierre to want a Spider Montout on his side, when he knows the type of person that Spider Montout is, and everybody knows the type of person that he is, and day by day he's proven to everybody the type of person that he is. Why would the Labour Party want to associate themselves with that and give you $2 million? I know more people. That boggles the mind. That in itself, that to me, in my estimation, that never happened. There's just a fabricated thing just for Spider to make himself feel good. Because hear my rationale. When Richard Frederick said, guy offered him $1 million for the airport thing, right? And you heard Stephenson King said, yeah, he offered me $5 million. Guy Joseph was named, as a person who offered the bribe. Right? So why couldn't Spider say, okay, a surrogate of the Labour Party, Mr. So-and-so or Mr. So offered me $2 million. Why couldn't you name the person? Name the person if you have balls. If that is so true, name the person. And then the person will defend his or herself.
Okay.
You understand? Now, the other thing. This is my partner renting a house, not his officer, a second home in Migo South. Alan Chasney, Kailoya, Miku. And the man actually staying there. The man mostly dead in his house now. His original house.
You know why? The thing that I've been saying for a long time, Chasney was not being put under pressure, made to feel like he needs to look over his shoulder in Miku South. He was coasting along as if it was a given, as if it was a foregone conclusion. Right now, he is feeling the heat. He is feeling the pressure. That's what I was talking about. Yeah.
But it seems like Shanda will make him turn Santa before Christmas.
Shanda, yes, but the entire machinery of the Labour Party has been has been stirred up and roused and is is on a push and on a roll. He's feeling the heat.
Okay. Now I heard a little rapport with you and check over the telephone. I heard it on Friday, and I heard the replay this afternoon.
Yeah, make it fast. You've been on for a while. We want to give at least one more person a chance before we wrap.
I am of the view that Chico is just being flirtatious. He was expecting something from you, and you not give it to him, so he got angry.
Yeah, but that's a weird way to get it, eh? But thanks very much.
All right.
Somebody said, Shelton, it was unequivocally clear to me that Peter Chico was attempting to make himself politically relevant. Another person wrote a message that said, in fact, he acted. Chico was never made controller. He acted August 2020 to March 2021, March 2021 to September 2021, where he retired. All right, another person says, good afternoon, S. That man just looking for trouble. Do not invite that man on the real issues. You know? So there's been some reaction to my replay of that bizarre call on Friday from Peter Chico. We have another call on the line. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
Yes, all right. What I want to say is that I hear so many rumors. All right. I'm hearing so many rumors about election date. I hear it's next month. But what I'm saying to Mr. Pierre, the people that want him to call election before its time, they are not the one that put him in power. They are not the one that employ him. The nation of St. Lucia, the people of St. Lucia that employ Mr. Pierre to do the work that they gave him to do. They give him 5 years to do his work. They gave him 5 years to do their work. He have to stay the 5 years to do the people's work. And just what he don't have to do like the others, do not overstep his time. And do not let those people force him because of their bush jaja and all their criticism and all nonsense like that.
Okay.
And then those people that are tarnishing our young lady, Julian Alfred name, tell them please stop because they don't even know what they're saying and doing. They are just ignorant and nonsensical people. Because if they know how envious the big countries in the world are to us, a small island that is progressing in sports and in other education. We are not a 45%ers. We are excellent people in education and other things. Tell them to, and those are the people that want to say they want us to employ them to govern our country. Those people have to go back to school and have and learn common sense because they are lacking of common sense.
Okay.
Have a blessing.
Thank you very much. You as well. I'm really happy that you took this Chico matter head on. I heard him on Friday trying to give the impression that you attacked him. Good job. All right. Thank you very much for that. The person who sent me this message. We have another call on the line who may well be our final one. Real Issues, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Yes, good afternoon. And how you doing?
I'm doing okay. And you?
Not as good as you.
Tell me in what way I'm doing so well.
When you see they running by Timothy, I mean, anybody could go on a radio station and make their contribution, but when you see they're running by Timothy, know who exactly they are. Like, what is him again? Stanley Felix. I hear you went on Timothy and talking a lot of nonsense and crap. That's number one. Number two, firstly, what you see Shafney is displaying there, my brother, you have to display it because UWP Mempuer. Let me give you two examples first. We is not now run and given to people under the United Workers' Party. John Compton gave the Danes run by Salty Bus there, and when Kenny Anthony came back, he had to pay the land back to get back the land. When Shastney not taking care of his constituency, I born in Miku village. Compton developed everywhere where he wanted, but he never developed Miku and around Miku where he's getting all his support. So that is not new. And I will tell you all more at time coming. Have a blessed day.
All right. Thank you very much. I think that'll do it for us for the real issues for today. Someone says Spider is not even worth 50 cents. He carries zero political capital. I have to say I'm a little perplexed as to why Labour Party supporters give so much time of day to Spider and to Prudent and those kind of people. At the end of the day, Marcella is the candidate. She's the one on the hustings. I mean, yeah, there may be some things that people say, but I just find Labour Party people, they tend to give too much time of day to people who, if they're not entirely irrelevant, there's so much on the margins of what, the real focus and fight should be and so on, that, these people are probably being deployed as deliberate distractions and so on. They don't really pass muster. They don't really carry any weight. They don't really change the price of the cocoa or move the needle in terms of the political contest and race. I could be wrong on that, but I just find too much time of day is being given to them, by Labour Party people who want to take them on. But that's Shelton Daniel's point of view. Real Issues, powered by Blue Waters. I think we had another great one, but we got to go now. Thank you so much, everyone.
The winning numbers for the midday draw of Monday, 20th October 2025 were Double Daily Grand 4, 7, 13, 14. Big 4, 0, 1, 5, 5. The Big 4 Multi-X ball drawn is FB. Pick 2, 6, 1. The Pick 2 Multi-X ball drawn is 3X. 1 off, 9, 5, 8. Lucky 3, 0, 7, 4. The Lucky 3 Multi-X ball drawn is 2X.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with big issues. Real Issues, 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
McDowell's Supplements, an effective way to ensure you and your loved ones are getting the daily recommended intake of essential vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate Health prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary flow, and reduce frequent urination, especially at night. Moringa oleifera capsules are rich in minerals like calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, vitamins like beta-carotene of vitamin A, vitamin B such as folic acid, vitamin C, D, and E. McDowell's Potassium Complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple